Hi, I'm Alexis from the Kiteboarder magazine. We're here in Hood River, AWSI, at the Naish booth with some exciting stuff from Damien. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very good, thanks.
Now you got some exciting kites this year.
Yeah, we do. I've been working hard, and we got this one behind us, the Pivot. Winner of the King of the Year this year.
That went so high.
That goes
that
really
went way high.
That kite's been going high for years, but it took a little
So
bit.
you're saying it's the kite or the guy?
Well, the guy's going high, but the kite helped him for sure. And if he was here right now, he would tell you the same.
He went high.
Yeah, but you know what happened is like him and Jesse would not want to compete on the King of the Year on that kite. But one day Kevin goes to a kite event, and the wind is too strong for his torch because he only packed not enough kites, and he has to get on a pivot. And that was the deal maker for him. He calls me that night. He's like, man, I think you're right. I'm gonna maybe try to go King of the Year on that thing.
So you're saying he should listen to you more often?
Oh, well, you know, I think he knows.
Okay, so one of the specific features this year on this kite?
Well, what's new for this year is that we got the kite slider. As you may know, we use the Quad-Tex material on those kites, which is the stiffest and strongest material in the industry. And what this material does, even though it's slightly heavier than the other materials, it's so much stronger that it allowed us to remove so much more reinforcement. So all the kites actually got lighter than what they would be if we had another canopy material, because you don't need all of the reinforcement. So all the kites got lighter. A lighter kite means better flying characteristics. You know, all the energy that you waste trying to keep the kite in the air is something you're actually wasting. So now you get this much more, you know, efficiency on your kite. And what's new also on all the kites this year is that we have a new thread that closes the leading edge seam, and we still haven't been able to pop one kite. Our compressor only goes to 60 psi, so actually 62, and so it doesn't pop. But not like anyone should pump at 62 psi. But the idea is that now you know that when we say 12 psi, you go to 12 psi, the kite's going to be better, because it's going to have the shape that it was designed for, and you can crash it knowing that you can go to 60 and the crash not going to bring it to 60. So that's a great feature we have. Definitely improved, you know, the durability of the kites. Just for, you know, as a reference, all kites and the other kites with normal thread, they pop at 30 psi, which is already great, but when you
want
have
that
a big
extra
crash,
bit.
yeah, exactly. So that's awesome. And then the other thing we have also, same for durability, we have what we call the bladder lock. So the end of the bladders inside the strut and the leading edge are attached with a Velcro, so they cannot move inside. So there's less chance to get a burst because they're always in the right position. So that's, again, you know, improving on the quality and the durability of the kites.
Now we got some other great looking kites. Let's walk down here. There's a little.
So this one's the Slash, and Slash the designs, or the target is like strapless and wave. And the difference between the Slash and the Pivot, which is also a great wave kite if you want to ride waves. That kite, you know, jumps really high but also rides wave. It's very versatile. This one's more dedicated for the strapless and wave guys. And the difference with that kite is that it drifts really good. Drifts really, it's really easy to get drifting. You just keep your bar like halfway through and you ride your wave, and the kite just follows the wave down there. So that's the key feature on that kite. And what we've done new for this year is I changed the leading edge diameter taper down in the wingtip. So we got a wingtip that's a little softer, so you get a kite that reacts faster to input, so you can kind of position it better. If you want to drift it in the exact right position, it's easy to get it there. And that's really the key feature on this year's kite. And I was stoked because, like, right when we got the new kite, Jesse went down to Mexico, and same thing, he was super stoked. He called me up as soon as he got back. He's like, man, that new Slash is totally awesome. Like, he loved the way you could get it right in the right spot. So that's, you know, it's good when you do something and the riders don't appreciate it right away. So
you're like, oh, I actually got it right this time.
So yeah, no, we were super stoked on those kites. But, you know, clearly the fact, I think we're lucky, not lucky because we worked hard to get that Quad-Tex material, but having the Quad-Tex is such a huge advantage we have over, you know, other kites, because they're just stronger, stiffer, and we can actually make them lighter because the material is stronger.
Now finally we got this last one over here.
The Boxer is awesome because it's such a good light wind, not really light wind, but underpowered kite. So you could be underpowered in 35 knots of wind if you go on a 3 meter, and that's really what the design is for. When there's not enough wind pretty much to fly a kite, or there's barely enough, then you can have a lot of fun. That kite's really light. Same thing, you know, like the one strut kite. I had started working on designing one strut back in 2010 when we went from 7 to 5 to 3 strut. I went all the way to 1. And back then it was not working. I had a lot of flutter in the wingtip, and revisited the concept 2 years ago and realized that because of the Quatex now, there was
you
no
can
flutter.
make it happen.
Exactly, because the material is not stretching anymore like it used to. So the flutter is all about stretching material that's just suddenly there's too much material. And so Quatex allowed us to make a one strut that didn't require all the big piece of dacrons and battens and
Which makes it heavy.
Makes it heavy and kind of kills the whole purpose of having a underpowered kite. So it's definitely an awesome kite for that. The lightweight also helps it relaunch even better because there's less weight, and the shape's also designed so it relaunches in really underpowered conditions. Like you go out foiling and like a day, like right now it's actually windy, but
it wasn't windy earlier.
Exactly, you can still relaunch the kite when you can barely fly it, and that's the whole idea on that kite. So it's not just foiling, it's just underpowered.
Okay, let's talk about the other kites.
Dash is this one here, and the Dash is kind of like our sporty kite. That's a kite that I really like when I ride a twin tip because it turns really fast, it flies really fast, and that's the whole idea on that kite. Like a guy that's a good kiter. Definitely not for everybody because it's going to be too fast for most people. Not most people, but a lot of people, it's going to be too fast for them. And what we've done this year for this one is we reduced the leading edge even more. So now it's a leading edge that's like pretty much the same diameter as the one on our famous torch, which is probably the smallest leading edge in the market because that's what a good sea kite needs to be able to depower and create the pop and slack. So this is like an awesome, mix of like still having the bridles, the fogginess to the bridles, but you get the performance of more like a real sea kite. And this year now, with the small leading edge, it really got better at giving you pop when you unhooked, but also just at jumping higher because you can send it so fast that you can yank really well, out of the water. So that's an awesome jumping kite. Not as easy as the pivot is to jump. It's more technical to jump, but once you know how to jump that kite, the feeling is awesome because you can really like be, going one side.
Gliding with
kite.
it.
More like you get your kite one side and you send it the other way. You got it's more engaged than a pivot would be where you just send it, shit it, and then you glide under easily. That's more technical. But a lot of people have been loving it. I got a lot of really good feedback because it just makes it more engaged, more engaging, more fun. So yeah, I think that was it for our kites now.
Yeah. So I know we didn't go over all the sizing and all the other technical features. Where can they go for that?
We got pretty much all the sizes you need.
But like what they're gonna.
The Boxer starts at 3.5 for again like light, underpowered foiling or super.
We're not gonna run through every size. They can go. Where can they go?
Yeah. Well, you can go on our website, nashkites.com. We got everything right now.
And we're gonna talk about your bar. And there's an animal on the bar.
Right. Yeah. There's a little animal here, like it's a chicken finger. It's actually a rooster on it. So
maybe get the camera to pan up on it.
A rooster right here.
So let's talk about the bar finally. Besides the animal.
Yeah. So for this year, the bar has been good. We redesigned it totally a few years ago, but every year we keep improving. So this year we reworked on the below the bar trim. We reworked the cleat down here, so it's super easy to use. We also have the option of like an above the bar cleat, but that stays unchanged. And what we worked on too is we have a new line organizer up here, which makes the release totally smooth, super easy to do, but also make sure that the lines are stays out of any friction because nothing can move. So that's a good feature. Some people have been asking me why is it asymmetrical. The reason is that this knot here takes more space than the knot inside here, so your lines are actually the same size. That's why this part is higher. And
to compensate for it.
To make it perfectly symmetrical. And one thing that's I'm really excited about on those new bars is the new line we have. It's called the TLS 500. The 500 stands for 500 kilos, which is 1,200 pounds, I believe. And the great thing of having oversized lines like that, because of course we never go to 500 kilos when we're kiting, but that means you stay really far from where the line is starting to stretch when you're kiting. So you have a line that's really stiff, and stiff lines means faster response from your kite because there's no stretch happening, and also means that with time your lines are less likely to stretch and have your kite kind of like trim wrong. So that's really awesome, and that's the line that we actually worked on the first time right here when Jesse did his toe up, and he went, I don't remember how
a mile high.
300 kilometers high. So he wanted lines stronger. Well, I was like, dude, you know, our lines are strong enough, but mentally he wanted to have something stronger. So we're like, okay, we're gonna work on something. And we made those lines with the supplier, and eventually we worked on it more, and then this year we're introducing him, and it's pretty awesome because it does make your kite feel better. So yeah, stoked on the new line. The other thing we have is, and I don't have it right here, but we have a shorter leash on every bar now. You know, most people don't really do handle passes, so we have a leash that, you know, just short, so less hanging to the side.
Now, for all the other technical features, line length, and all that stuff, where can they go?
You can go on our website, naishkites.com. There's all the information you need there.